seriously, is it what you want? Fuck.
Hello. And
Terrible.
welcome.
You gotta, I mean, if you listen to any kind of radio or audio thing, it never begin. Hello.
Well, listen.
Dear God, what am
you
I entering
always
a
make
haunted
fun
house?
of my intros. Okay. Hello there and welcome
It's
to
just
the
a variation of the
podcast.
statement. Hello there. You're like a lower range Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hi, and welcome to the podcast that makes your pussy wet.
That's good too.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Julia Ladkowitz. Across from me is my husband, who likes to criticize me, even though I am just doing my goddamn best.
Yeah.
And this is the podcast, Is This What You Want, with Matt and Julia, where it should be with Julia and Matt, because that's alphabetical, and
MJ, and people respond to MJ because Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Matt and Julia.
JM for Jelly Meatball.
Yep. People know Jelly Meatball. That's a good rapper name too, and also a good drag name. Also
Jelly
just
Meatball?
a good name.
Yeah, if my name was Jelly Meatball, I'd be famous by now.
Jelly Meatball. You just
Welcome to
roll
the
out.
stage is Jelly Meatball, and then I'm just all like, and I call them my little stickies,
What's up, little stickies? We love you, Meatball.
and they just chuck meatballs at me, and I catch them in my mouth. Hump, hump, hump.
Why is it jelly? Is it like jelly bean meatball?
I'm thinking of like more of like a meatball with like a jam coating or like a jelly coating,
Ooh, that's not bad.
like a sweet and sour meatball.
If it was like a turkey meatball with like a cranberry outer crust, like
Now
there's
we're
certain
talking.
meats that go with fruit. Really, there's turkey goes with
Cranberry.
pork, applesauce,
Apples, chicken,
lamb, mint,
mint.
which is who decided that? Who was like the only thing that goes with lamb? The only thing that lamb can stand is mint.
Well, first of all, many things can go with lamb, but
What else?
it-
Mustard? No, none of the main guys. None of the main players. They threw mint in there.
because it's gamey and the mint.
Do you
the
ever
mint
brush
really
your
gets in
teeth
there.
with meat? That's what lamb is. Do you want a toothbrush made of meat? A young, succulent,
the cutest meat you've ever seen?
cutest meat you've ever seen? Oh, the first person to eat a lamb.
Oh, they were probably so excited because they're like, "Oh my god, I'm starving. Look at this adorable thing that's
Yeah.
gonna feed me."
I wonder if they started at cow and they worked their way down. They were like, well, that's got 4 legs and hair.
I think it depends on where you were living in the world and what was accessible to you.
Probably. Yeah, I'm picturing a guy that just has every animal around him. And he's
Yeah,
like, I'll start
and he's
with
just
cow.
pointing a shotgun at every single one of them. He's like, "Which one of you do I want to eat first?"
Which one am I going to eat? Imagine
He chooses giraffe.
Meat Discovery was one guy. He just ate everything, and he's like, okay.
I gotta write this down and tell the people.
Yeah, I've been doing this for months. I got news for you. Chicken and beef are the main players.
Well, again, in our society, but other places, chicken and beef are not.
Yep.
I would say the goat reigns
goat.
supreme in other
I
places.
don't know if I've had goat. I can't. I feel like it's like eating a family member for me.
Yeah, because you grew up with goats. 'Cause
Yeah.
You
Like, what is this,
also
my
you
sister?
were called goat fucker, so you're like, I can't eat the thing I fuck.
Yeah. No one in the planet should eat what they fuck.
Yeah.
That's rule number. I think that's one of
So
the
I
commandments.
guess you won't be eating me. Oh, burn on me and
What,
you.
You don't eat your fuckable wife over here.
Because it means you don't fuck me, so you can, or I guess you
Wait.
will be eating me.
Yeah. Yes.
Either way, listen, this is going to be a really stupid episode because so much stupid shit happened this week. But before we get into that, Hoppy Choppy Hour.
Hoppa choppa hour, everyone. It's the only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie, Rubit movie that Julia has not seen.
Nope.
But she is flying out this week, and if it's on a plane, she has to
Yep.
watch it. So
I'm
she can
flying out
check.
tomorrow to Seattle.
Ah,
You heard of
Seattle.
it? Home of Fraser Crane.
Oh, baby, I hear the Budokan.
And just, we're going to get into this stupid week soon. But just to add to this stupidity, I went to check into my flight today, middle seat.
Oh, no.
And not even the option, I was like clicking on other ones, not even the option to pay extra for something else. And it's one of those things where they're like, this seat may or may not be taken once the flight takes off, where it's just like, oh, come
Just
on.
give it to me. Who are you
Just
holding it for?
give it
the
to
Queen
me.
of England? She's dead.
I'm like, I would even like pay for it. Just, I don't want to sit, and at least it's not a super long flight.
yeah, it's Seattle. What is it, like 2 hours, 3 hours? Not even 3.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, and you got little baby bird arms, and you'll
First
squeeze
of
right
all, I have thick Polish arms.
as a hulking bat-winged man with his giant shoulders sitting in the middle is pure torture.
Yeah.
I might as well be sitting in the middle of the entire plane with everyone touching me.
There was a guy that got on my plane from my little plane, like a little 2-seaters on each side from to Tulsa. And the flight attendant was like, "Oh boy, how tall are you?" And he's like 6'7".
Yeah.
And he was tall, but he was also like
Wide.
just girthy. Like not even like he was just like a big guy. And I'm like, holy shit. And luckily it was just 2 and 2. And then he had this tiny girlfriend, so he just eclipsed her.
Jesus.
But
when you
anyway.
see a big, tall, meaty guy, like that's a lot of protein. That guy's consuming a lot of our daily breads and meats.
I don't know what he's consuming, but but then the first thing that comes to mind, I'm like, I just picture them having sex. I'm like, how you do?
Yeah, I guess she just kind of bounces all over his genitals, and he just is like, like a giant beached whale.
I don't know. Just it was. I'm like the logistics and like. How do you
Or he might not have a proportionate penis. It might be like a regular guy looking penis, and she's like, "Well, I can handle this guy's penis," but the body's. It's like he's like a blow up castle with a penis.
But what if the penis is hidden under the castle? You know what I mean? Like I feel like the penis might be hard to.
Oh,
find.
like he's a bottom.
No. What?
What are you talking about?
If there's so much castle and the penis is not even that big, it's like the penis is hidden behind the castle.
Yeah, you gotta fold over some of the castle to get to the castle's penis.
Try to deflate part of the castle to get in there.
That's right. Do some sit-ups for God's sake, you giant asshole. Anyway,
Wow,
good for you.
don't fucking fat shame this fake guy that
First
you
of
don't
all,
even know.
6'7" is the new 6'3". I remember saying 6'3" back in the day, probably 10, 15 years ago, and people were like, "That's the tallest I've ever heard." 6'3"? Wow. And now I'm hearing 6'7", 6'7", all over the place.
They make people bigger these days. Even me, like everybody has a story about their mom being like, "Well,
8
when
feet
I was
tall?
your age."
Oh.
No, I'm saying they make people bigger these days.
Imagine
back
you had
in
a
the day,
giant mom.
Yeah, my mom's 8 feet tall. Listen, something you like to do is interrupt me constantly on this podcast,
Yeah.
and it fucking pisses me off.
What were you gonna say about mamas?
Slice you up. They were like everybody's mom is always like, "Oh, well, when I was pregnant with your sister, I fit into it. I was a size 24 or whatever." Like my mom was always like, "Oh, I wore that dress that when right after I had your sister." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry that when I'm 16 I can't fit into it." I'm like, there's just different stuff in the bread, in the meats. There's hormones. Like we're just
Something.
a bigger species of humans
Yeah,
now.
women back then used to have babies and then go thunk, and they just went back to normal.
But they were also born smaller. They're
Yeah.
shorter. Like the average height has gone up. The shoe size, the everything. Anyway,
wild.
we'll get into that. But it's Chappy Hour. We're chapping a nice, I don't know, I feel like it's a Chianti or a Bordeaux. I don't know what it is.
It's fucking red and it's in a glass.
It's nice, though.
It is good.
I'm having a nice time with this mystery red.
Yeah, it is. It's a fine table wine, I'd say.
It's more than a table wine, you slug.
No, it's a good table wine. If I was at a table and someone gave me this wine, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm glad there's a jug of this.
Yeah, it's not a toilet wine. Although if I was in a toilet and someone was like, "Listen, do you want a sip?"
Yeah.
And I saw them open it, I'd be like, "Okay." Yeah, I ate a guava off the ground the other day that I
That's
found in
true.
our neighborhood.
Welcome to Los Angeles, everybody, where guavas are just street food.
Well, this beautiful guava had just fallen on the sidewalk, and I was like, I picked it up because I'm like, "What is this?" And then I smelled it. I'm like, "Oh, that's a guava," and it was in perfect condition. So I took it home. I washed it good.
Yep.
I cut it and I ate it.
Yep, she ate some street garbage.
But then it's first of all, it's street fruit. And then I was thinking, I'm like, if someone really wanted to, what if they, you know how people are like razor blades and candy for Halloween? Like, what if someone had injected the guava with something and being like, maybe some
Razor
loser
blade,
is going to eat it and then eat this poison?
Huh.
There was like a part of me, but I was like, you got to live life on the edge, you know?
Yeah, you got to. If you find fruit on the street, you eat that fruit. That's the lesson learned this week.
You know
What is it? I
another
don't know.
lesson I learned?
What's that?
When we're not filming the
Yeah.
podcast, I'm so much more loose and fun.
Yeah, because
When the
it's a
camera's in
lens.
front of me and I'm like, oh, yes, I don't know what I'm saying.
That's the trope with filming your stand-up sets. I remember back in the day, like back before it was even like you were even posting stand-up on anything. It's like you record it and you watch it and you learn what you did right and wrong.
Or it's for a submission or something,
Or
but
for-
it's not for the public.
Yeah, not for the public. And I remember every time I would film, I'd feel fucking different. I'd come off and I'd be like, well, I knew that was
Yeah.
on. I knew the camera was here.
And I guess we're getting used to it more now. And also, it's usually like further away, so you can't see it in the way. But here, we're playing to camera and we're whatever. But right now, I'm just like friggin' in PJs. My tits are out. My tits aren't out. They're in a
Mine are.
shirt. But
Shantz, quit licking the couch. What is this?
our dog's
dog
licking
thing
the
that you have?
couch. She likes to lick the couch. She likes the flavors of the fabric.
It's not like a panicked thing. She'll just see a fabric in the house and she'll be like, "What the fuck does that taste like?" And she'll-
Well, apparently licking for them is just very soothing.
Yeah.
So it's like anybody has, a little vice like, sucking their thumb or biting their nails or fingering their asshole.
Lick your toys. Don't lick our furniture, for God's sake. I wouldn't go into someone's house and start licking their furniture. I mean,
But this is if it's a big like soft sort of like ultra suede couch. So she's like, this is a big toy.
it feels nice on the tongue. Good tongue, mouthfeel, beautiful taste.
Good. Speaking about good mouthfeel,
Yeah.
this wine, and you know what wasn't a good mouthfeel? The taste that this week left in my mouth.
I think it was an entire 7 days. I would say this is, I want to say probably top 20 worst weeks of my life.
Oh my God, it wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad.
Especially
it was annoying. It was top 3, top 10 most annoying weeks of my life.
It was a very frustrating, annoying, nagging, just relentless weekend of stupid things, which all separately are like, okay, I could manage that, but all together it was just like, why?
It just escalated. It was a slippery staircase into a wet basement.
And what's so funny is the last time we finished this podcast on Thursday, we're like, well, next week this is going to be our warm and fuzzy, and maybe because we're going to the LA Fall Fair.
Yeah.
And that night is what started.
That was the beginning of it. Yeah, we finished the podcast and we went to this fall fair, which if you look it up online, LA Fall Fair, you're like, well, this is it. This is the thing that everyone goes to, and it's going to be a fall. There's going to be pumpkins and little tents, and it's going to be nice. We show up. It's in a field. Fine.
Which is fine. All fairs
It's
are in a
fine.
field.
You park in some bumpy grass, which is exactly the experience I wanted. I love that fair.
The parking field was great. There was straw
Great
laid
field of
down. I was like,
parking,
ooh,
yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm at the fall fair, and then you get in there, and it looked like it was so empty. It looked like a movie set, like they were about to film what was that Mark Wahlberg movie where he went to a
Fear?
amusement park? They were about to film the sequel to Fear,
Yeah, it
and
did
the
have that
extras
vibe.
hadn't shown up yet. It was eerie. It was like more a Halloween fair because of how spooky and empty it was.
And not like usually a fair will have like a bunch of different music playing or like at least some sort of DJ but there was one ride blasting music. The rest was silent. And
Except
there was
for the carousel. The carousel was right in the middle, and you'd walk by it and you'd go, "Dee, dee, 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 dee," and you're just like, ugh.
nobody's
It's
on
echoing.
any rides. And then I'm like, well, I kind of just want to ride the Ferris wheel or something. And they're like, no, you can only buy like
It's like $35 worth of tickets.
which is like the wristband. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I just want to ride the fair because Matt like gets motion sick and
Yeah, but back in the day, I remember going to fairs and they're like, I'm like, how many? It's one ticket to ride? Okay, I'll get one ticket. Like, get out of here. And all the rides, they were so empty that the carnies were just standing there. And so if you showed up for that ride, guess what? You partly own that ride because you're the only person on it.
it was wild. Like I joked later because it was $5 to get in. We're like, what a steal. I'm like, I basically paid $5 to use a porta potty and leave.
Yeah. There also was a rock climbing exhibit. The
Wall.
wall? Wait, that looked like a turd.
It looked like a giant piece of shit.
It was an actual piece of shit.
You know when people use a chocolate bar and they try to make it look like a piece of shit
like
to
they
like
put it in a pool? Or
yeah,
something?
or like in the toilet to spook their friend. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it looked like.
It looked like an O. Henry bar. But if you shit out a full O. Henry bar.
So yeah, and also the scariest thing of all, there was no beer tent.
There was no beer tent.
There was
in
no
any
place to buy
capacity.
alcohol. So we got a pupusa, we got a funnel cake, and then we left. And as
Yeah.
we were leaving, I'm like, and I just because that was supposed to be our big like Halloween weekend thing because we didn't really have that many plans, and I was like, I feel like my serotonin has been drained.
Yeah, it felt very draining of like, you're like, I'm not hurt. I'm not broke. I'm not anything. I was just a human doing that night. I
Yeah.
was just alive and I had no emotions. That's what that fare did to me. We both came back with blank faces, and we were like, well, that's okay.
Okay.
I guess that's the beginning of this weekend.
And then the next day we're like, okay, it's Friday. Hell yeah, we're out doing a show. It's Halloween weekend. I'm like, let's dress up as hot dogs and do our sets. Matt had a whole hot dog set
I wrote
planned.
hot dog jokes most of the day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, who cares? It's going to be goofy, and this is the time to be goofy. The Halloween weekend.
We're
Let's
like,
all be goofy.
Let's be silly. And I shook off the negativity. I'm like, Julie, you're just being weird. Just have some fun. And then I'm like, after Matt gets off, because he was up first, I was up second. I'm like, I'm going to go on as a hot dog to be like, has anybody seen my husband? I'm like, and then Matt's laughing. We're like, oh, this is going to be great. Cut to us.
First of all, small crowd. But I don't think that would have made a difference if it was sold out in full. I went up. It was one of the most uncomfortable experiences I've had in recent memory. It was like, it was just, I talked to Julia after. I'm like, I think I should take a course in like clowning or something, because I could not commit to what was happening. I was just like, this sucks, and all of you think this sucks, and I hate this. And I mean, I did film it and make it into a dumb video that I posted the next day. But even I edited it into like a Seinfeld intro, and people were still like, ooh, rough set. I thought it was okay, but they did not. I'm like, no, this is supposed to be stupid. I tried to like redeem myself by making it stupider, and it just made it worse. It was very odd.
And it's just like the feeling of like being backstage and I'm in a hot dog costume and I'm all excited, but then being backstage and hearing you tell your jokes, I'm like, oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no! They're not liking this.
I'm kicking out of this hot dog.
I was like, oh, this was I've made a grave mistake. And then I'm just like, no, you can get them. You'll be fun. And then I get on, and it's one of those things where you start telling jokes and you think you're gonna be all confident, and then because you're not getting anything, you're like, what is sentence now? Fuck. I think I told a guy. Oh, also I did some joke about like I was. It's a newer bit about like my struggling with mental illness or whatever, and I was like said something about mental illness, and then some guy goes, "Aw," and he was awing you too. He kept going, "Aw," and I was like, "Who fucking awed me?" I was like, "You backwards cat piece of shit, suck my dick." And then I'm like, "What am I doing? I'm in a hot dog costume telling some fucking punk 22-year-old to suck my dick." It was one of those sets. I'm like, I'm embarrassed for myself, for hot dogs, for everybody involved.
Yeah, I don't know what happened exactly. I think we were like all the goofy, and there was no goofy left over for other people to join us. I think that's. Oh,
it
man.
was also to our in all fairness to us. That's
sure.
Yeah. To our credit, the host went up, and it's not that she was bad. It's just they sucked. It's like they didn't want to.
They were left over from the previous show, so they'd been there for a while. So they'd been there since 8:00, and it was 10:30, and they were like.
And then it's just double hot dog right off the top, and they're like, "Oh God, what the fuck is this?" Anyway, so that was Friday.
So then, yeah, that's the next step in this terrible weekend. Friday, you're like, all right, still not having a good time. Came back emotionless as well, back to the home. I was like, oh, well, my emotions have been sucked dry.
Yep. And then Saturday rolls along, and I made the decision. I was like, you know what? Matt and I both had a show Saturday, but I was like, I'm not in a good headspace. I'm like, I think if I do this show, I will have a mental breakdown. And my friend Amanda was like, oh my gosh, please come to the Hollywood Roosevelt with me. There's a party there. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, I deserve my party Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm always dressing up as a disgusting man every year, like friggin' Carrot Top or Niles Crane. Not that Niles is disgusting.
No, he's beautiful.
Paul Hollywood, for Groundskeeper Willie, to name a few. So I was like, this year I'm going to be this hot disco queen. I'm going to go to a hot Hollywood party at the Roosevelt. So I canceled my show. I bought my ticket. It was $80, by the way.
Yowza.
Which I was like, this is stupid, but I'm like, I don't care. I deserve this. Cancel my show, which I was getting paid for. But I was like, fuck it. I need this for me. Next day I wake up. My friend's like, I'm so sorry. I'm sick. I can't go.
Brutal.
So I'm like, okay. So luckily got a refund for my ticket, but I'd already canceled the show, and I was like, okay, fuck it.
Still didn't really amount to a good night. What was Sunday?
Was
Sunday nothing? Was Sunday when we watched The Shining?
Did we watch The Shining Sunday? Something else fucking stupid happened Sunday.
Let me look at my calendar here because yeah, there's no way that this terrible weekend took a stall on Sunday.
And I know we're trying to make this podcast more like this is the news and some good and whatever, but I'm like, for my own sanity, I just need to get this.
You know what?
This
I think
week off my
Sunday was
chest.
we watched The Shining, and it was nice. I think we're like, okay, this was a nice little movie night, and it's Halloweeny, and we had a nice time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah.
And then Monday, still not. It's still fine. You know, we went to the Comedy Store. Actually, we saw Monet Exchange on a little podcast.
Yep.
One of our favorite drag queens at the Comedy Store. That was very nice and exciting. We got to hang out with some fun people and whatnot. So that was fine. And I know you're like, it sounds like things are getting better. And that's why October 31st, Hallows Eve, Julia was like, let's go see our friend Mae Martin,
And
their
Brett
show
Goldstein.
at the
The
Largo.
Largo, because we'd never been to the Largo. I'm like, let's do it, and every day had just been so like and blah, and not to mention like I'd been waiting to find out about a callback. I'm like, well, I guess I didn't get this callback for this commercial that I thought I was perfect for. It was just like all this other bullshit that was happening and internal stuff, and I was
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we deserve a night out.
But we were even like, maybe we shouldn't even go. We second guessed ourselves. We're like, maybe
Matt
we shouldn't.
Specifically said he's like, maybe we just cut our losses and don't go
Yeah,
because
stay
it's been.
in
And I was like, no, we're going because I'm like, the tickets are free. We're going to support
be a
our
good
friend.
show,
It's going to
yeah.
be good. We've never been to Largo. Let's do it.
So we go down there, and it's Beverly and Cahuenga.
Beverly and
which,
La Cienega.
La Cienega. Is it? Oh, God.
Yeah.
I told some other people that it was Cahuenga. They'll figure it out. So it's an odd area. Also, the craziest gas station I've ever seen in my life. That corner, the gas is always like 3 to 4 times more expensive.
It's insanely expensive.
It's
It's right
this-
by the Beverly Center.
Yeah, it's this one gas station kind of in Beverly Hills, and they say they jack the price so that celebrities can pump their gas there and not be bothered by normies.
I guess.
That's what I've heard.
If I was a celeb, because it's also a oddly dodgy area. So,
Will, is it ever?
yeah.
So we got there, and parking at the Largo is $20. And we're like, fuck, I'm not spending $20. Who cares? And I parked there previously in my time in this town. I went to a bar there recently and parked on the street. Everything was fine. And so I got street parking. It was like $1. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, we got a spot right away. I'm like, what luck is this?
And we found out you could park in the Beverly Center, which is a mall, 24/7. But I'm like, I don't even need to bother with that. That's $5 to $6. I just paid $1. I am the king of parking.
Yeah, and I'm like, in the Beverly Center is like a little bit further,
It's a little bit
and then we have to like
further.
walk. We have to take an elevator or an escalator.
And this is like a busy street, and like we get out of the car, and then we see a guy, and he's really staring at us.
And I was like, you know what? I like my tits were kind of out. Like I look nice. I'm like, oh,
My
he's just
penis was out.
he's drinking in the Prius
Yeah,
C,
maybe
and
he likes the car.
he's drinking in my Prius C cups. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
looking at my mustache. Maybe there could be a million things, but he's really looking at us, and we were kind of just like ignoring him or whatever. Because if you react to every crazy person you see in LA, you're gonna be exhausted.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt your neck.
And also, I'm like, I don't want to judge this guy. He's looking. And also, Matt was like, maybe we should park in there. And I'm like, no, we'll be fine. And then
Yeah.
I just had this feeling. I'm like,
I had zero feeling.
I had a deep feeling.
I think maybe there is something comforting about you being like, I think we'll be fine. And then my brain just goes, okay, fine.
I said it, but then I was like, I
Yeah.
don't believe it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even think about it. And we went to the show, and it was great. We had a real fun time. It is still odd being a comedian watching a stand-up show. But they did a lot of riffy things, a lot of weirdo, goofy things. It was also, here's the thing. Mae Martin might be one of my favorite comics right now.
Mae Martin is, I don't know, just so funny and off the cuff and goofy. And they were working on like a lot of new material.
Yeah, just genuine and very, very funny. And I've watched them for years, but
Yeah.
now I'm just watching them like really blossom and
Yeah.
and become something.
And Brett and May together are such a
What a
just
duo.
a lovable duo. And at the beginning, I'm like, my face was hurting from laughing. I was like, I'm so excited. What a fun little night. And before that, got a little cocktail at the bar next door. Also, shout out to this bartender. Oh, what was this bar called? I gotta write. I'm
Was it
gonna write
called,
a
like
review.
Red's Room or
It's literally right next to the Largo, and
Right
it looks
next
like
to
a
the
little
Largo.
speakeasy.
He was on something too because he was like so charismatic and friendly. And did you hear somebody ran in and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the bartender from that show?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am."
on a TV show. I thought you said he was like on something. I'm like, oh, you saw him take something?
Can you imagine? Yeah,
Because he was so nice. I'm like,
Quaaludes.
oh, maybe he was on Molly.
The LA classic Quaaludes.
He looked like a movie bartender.
Yeah.
The nicest man I have ever, and just like such an ease to him, not a try hard. Anyway, I'm gonna write a review about this guy.
We should.
So beautiful bar experience, that and whatever. We are walking back to the car,
Yeah.
and I just hear Matt go, "No."
Because here's the thing. When I walk back to my car in LA, there is every single, I don't know if I ever told you this, every single time I'm looking at the windows and I'm like, those windows better be all intact. They always are.
Yeah.
And I'm always just like, why do you even worry about that? And then this one time we're walking, I look, the passenger side window is smashed.
Like
And
100% smashed. And I'd like to say we're pretty reactive people.
Yeah.
We both tend to fly off the handle sometimes, and we both were just like, okay.
yeah, it really,
Okay.
I witnessed us both break. But when people break, it's not always, falling to your knees, screaming and going crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a quiet, we
We just like surrendered to it.
we were just like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I just did that. And then, thankfully you had the mind, you started taking pictures.
You're
of
like, let's just
everything.
get out of here. I'm like,
Because
"Oh,
I
take
was
some
just like,
pictures."
I was so fed up. I was like, just let me get out. I just want to. It reminded me of like when I bomb an audition. I was like, and I sprint out of the room.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I bombed this, and I want to sprint out of Hollywood. Get me out of here.
Yeah, we like took some bags and tried to get some of the glass away.
Yeah, because they kicked the window inward, obviously, and that just exploded glass all over the car. Literally every inch of the car. has
Every
glass
inch of
on
the
it.
car is glass.
I get in and I'm opening the door and I put my hand on the wheel and I go stink, stink, and then my fingers are just bleeding.
Yeah.
And then I go to wipe this seat and just blood. I have blood hands right now. And then so also the door's fucked. You can't even open the
I couldn't
passenger
open
side.
it even if I wanted to. Not that I want to sit in a no window front seat.
I still don't fully understand what happened. I think the heel of his foot hit the lining of the door and it bent it or something. He was really going for it. And this is because we've had a few theories about why they would break our window.
Mm-hmm.
But number one is the crazy guy just didn't like us.
Yeah.
Number two, you said there was a Kit Kat left on the seat.
It wasn't in the
which
seat.
there
it was.
It was in the holder.
Yeah.
And
But then he could have easily grabbed it if he wanted it
Yes.
at that point. Once
Imagine
he kicked
it was
in.
like a kid that was like trick or treating. They're like, I need one more.
Well, then why did he
candy."
take it?
And it was just some like 6-year-old girl in a princess suit that just smashed our window.
You know what? If you can find me video footage of that, I will give her Kit Kats for life.
That could be it. I also woke up in the middle of the night thinking about it because we did go to bed. Well, I'm skipping ahead here, but I was like, maybe it's the Costco sticker because I have a Costco hot dog bumper sticker. Mm-hmm. And maybe they were like, this car is full of hot dogs.
And they're like, I'm hungry. I need hot dogs.
Like, give me them hot dogs. Like, even if there's a little hot dog worker in the car charging, he's like, it's $1.50.
Yeah.
So,
And then I was thinking, because when we got out, like, yeah, we were dressed kind of nice or whatever, and the guy clocked us, being like, maybe they have bars of gold in there or something. But I'm
Yeah.
like, it's a 2014 Prius C, man.
well, that's a testament to how valuable the insides of your car is. The window was kicked in, and nothing was touched.
Everybody's like, oh my God,
Absolutely
what did they
nothing.
steal? I'm like, nothing, because do not keep any kind of valuables in your car ever.
It doesn't make sense. I know people that keep like their computers in their car all the time, or like cameras, and I keep nothing in the car.
And I get if you're
for
out
exact reason.
shopping or something, you put some stuff in the car, whatever. But that's usually that's usually during the day. So just yeah. But he didn't even take like, I was like, oh, maybe the console, because our console's full of gum.
Maybe you wanted gum.
But then the gum was untouched.
Nothing. And everything was so untouched that I got more paranoid. I'm like, did he shit in the car? Did someone piss in the car? Did he lick the steering wheel? This morning I went on a tear cleaning the entire car. You went off to your little Pilates.
Well, and here I had 2 appointments today. I had Pilates and a hair appointment. But guess what? If you don't cancel within the allotted time,
You get
they
fucked.
charge you.
That's right.
So I'm like, well, I have to go to these appointments.
Yeah. No, it was fine. I had a quiet morning.
Hey, listen, I filed the police report yesterday.
That's right. And that helped big time. I'm sure they're going to catch this guy with all the descriptions. He was at this corner at this time, and that's all we know.
And we don't even know if it was him. But
We
he
don't
did,
know if it was
he
him.
looked at us funny.
Please don't do anything drastic.
But
if
we
it
didn't.
wasn't.
We also didn't give a description of the guy either.
Well, there you go. They're looking. I think they're looking. I'm confident the LAPDs. I pay my taxes, So this morning, I cleaned out the glass. So I tried the best I could because I heard. I was like, I could probably just Dyson this up. Turns out, chunks of glass could ruin a vacuum.
That's the first thing I said. I'm like, don't fuck up our vacuum, so don't do the glass.
Almost did. Thank God I didn't. But again, cut the shit out of my hands, and then I tried to make, because I had an audition to go to, so I'm like, I need a covering for the window, so I'll just cut some cardboard. Found this cardboard in the garbage, measured it out. It wasn't even close. It was so. I sent you a picture, and I drew a sad face on it so no one would judge me. I'm just like, what am I doing? This is just attracting more people to dive into.
That's
my
what I'm
car.
saying, because then you were putting up some like tarp on it later. I'm like, okay, when the window's just open from afar, it doesn't look like an open window.
Could be a clean window.
Exactly. But now when you have this disgusting tarp over it.
Yeah. There's no, it's something you don't realize how much you value until you lose it. Is next time in your car, be like, I'm happy that I have all the windows on my car.
Oh, all the windows are a blessing in a
It's
car.
crazy.
And meanwhile, I'm sitting in the back seat getting all the wind.
Yeah. I think that's what snapped in me. I was having such a miserable week, and then I was like, you know what? I missed the times that I had all my windows. That's when I was driving home, I was like, remember when you had all the windows in your car? Oh, those are good days.
Yeah, so I guess you just gotta appreciate what you have, because
Yeah.
sometimes you're not gonna have them. And that's as stupid as this week was. Like, I'm trying to find the silver linings here and there. And again, even saying it out loud I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But in the time, I could just, also because I think
It just
mentally
built.
we've both been in a little bit of a funk
Yeah.
and struggling. So when all this just kept happening, I'm like, what the actual fuck? And the last stupid thing
Oh boy.
today. So I kept being like, okay, well, I guess I didn't get a call back for this. I'm like, I'm not getting auditions. I've been reaching out to agents, managers. I'm just getting big fat no's everywhere. And I was one of those things. I'm like, I have no friends. Nobody likes me. Nobody respects me. Blah, blah. And then today I'm at my hair appointment, which, by the way, my hair looks so
Fantastic.
good. Loving it. And I get an audition, which I haven't had in so long, for like a film. And then I get a call back for that big job.
Hell yeah.
And it's tomorrow. And guess
dear.
what? I'm flying out to Seattle.
Yeah.
And they only have an hour and a half. I'm like, can I be seen another time? Finally, they get back to my agent and they're like, no, we're auditioning people from 1 to 2:30. So you just have to be available in that. Also, I auditioned for this a week ago. You couldn't have figured this out a week ago?
That's the perfect actor for them, is an actor that sits quietly at home and never leaves and just waits and is just always available. That's the perfect actor.
I'm so mad. Also, the character was Goldilocks, and it was a decent
And your new hair would have killed.
a decent chunk of money for a commercial. And I'm like, I'm Goldilocks.
I am Goldilocks.
Book me. So I'm so pissed. But
Yeah.
that being said, my hair looks amazing.
This is your silver lining on the shit week?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
my
nice.
hair looks really good. I still got to dress up in my disco queen outfit and hang out with like 3 friends, which is always nice.
That's fun.
And I'm excited for my Seattle weekend. I've really been pumping it hard. I bought a Facebook ad hoping it will help. Oh, also that's another thing on the Facebook ad, just a bunch of angry men commenting. Didn't love that. And then I also reached out to some like morning shows just to see if I could get on to promote the show. And I'm going to be on, what's it called?
I don't know. Studio something?
Studio 13 Seattle on Fox.
Oh, boy. The
It's
big
like-
game. The big league.
It's a lifestyle segment. It's not about the news
No,
or
you're
anything
not on
like
Fox
that.
News, but
I
even
know.
like, who the fuck cares anymore?
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm really trying.
Do you know what? Okay, we'll end on silver linings. How about that? Because
Yeah.
we talked about how shitty. My silver lining, this is a weird one. And I went through a lot of emotions while we were driving home. But once I calmed down, I was like, oh, I have a project.
You love a project.
I love a project. I love a beginning, middle, and end. And when I was driving and I was like, okay, there's no window. This is the beginning of this project. I love a structured project. And today I worked on it. That's why I was like, yeah, I actually didn't eat. I was so into what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was so focused because we both hadn't eaten, and we didn't eat until like 3 or 4.
In fact, till 4, we had breakfast, and then I did Pilates, and then I walked an hour to my hair appointment.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there. Also, I had like 2 glasses of Prosecco at my hair thing because I was sad.
Yahoo.
And then I'm like, oh boy. But then, we got Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Shake Shack.
It really fixed everything because there's a burger there. It's called the Smoke Shack. It has like bacon and these pepperoni. Are they pepperoncinis?
No, they're those little like red. I forgot what they're
Little
called.
red pepper, and then it's just very
Like cherry peppers or something.
Every time I have it, it's the best burger I've ever had, and I was like, I need that right now. I need something that's consistent, and I guess like McDonald's is kind of that for some people, but it's like that's the burger for me.
It's
And it
so
really did
good.
Fix everything, and also which fixed everything is I cleaned the car. I called insurance. Oh, sorry, my allergy is going crazy.
Yeah, there's something in the air.
Something in the air. Everything's the Santa Ana winds are blowing it in. So I was like, there's no way insurance is going to cover this. Why would I even call? I called. And I was like, someone kicked in my window. And they're like, yeah, that's 100% covered.
Which mind boggled because when we looked it up earlier, they're like, yeah, it might. But then depending on what your deductible is and then your rates might go up.
I signed up for whatever the hell I did 7 years ago. Good for me 7 years ago because... yeah, this is the absolute dream scenario. It's all covered. It's going to be a meeting with them tomorrow, possibly dropping it off. I get a rental car per diem. It's like,
see, I'm skeptical. I will believe it when I see it because I've been scorned by insurance. Like when for my psychiatry, I was like, oh, they're like, yeah, it's covered by your insurance, and then you just
I don't
have
know. Car insurance is different.
You just have to do your copay, and then they're like, oh, but your deductible, and then they slap me with like, oh, you owe $600. I'm like, yeah.
No, I've had good experiences with this car insurance. This is not like an ad for State Farm, but I don't know, maybe it is. When I got in that accident a few years ago, yeah, it was the guy's fault and everything was covered and I barely even noticed it. It was great. And then, so having that, I was like, oh, this is great. I already reached the middle of the project.
Yeah.
This is exciting. So that's my silver lining is I really don't have fuck all going on this weekend. I'm staying in. This is kind of the perfect time for this to happen, and I love that I'm about to fix it.
Yeah, and I love that.
This,
I love that
be
you're
better.
home to fix it while I'm off
Isn't that nice?
in Seattle, making money, putting food on our table.
I'm here taking care of the kid, getting the car fixed, getting a new window.
Oh God, my nose is going crazy. We got to wrap this up. I think I'm gonna blow
Yeah.
my nose. I think that's it. I think November is gonna be our month. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, November's our month because guess what?
What?
Already off to a great start. Shake Shack, good hair, insurance is covering it. It's my birthday, November 14th.
Damn right.
We're going to
New
I'm going to
Orleans.
Seattle. I'm going to New Orleans. Oh, it's
all
going to be
happening
good.
this month. So I hope that you find happiness in your month as well.
And you
what?
know another way you can find happiness? I always forget to plug this. So I'm a Cann CANN ambassador. So those are like the weed drinks that I'm actually obsessed with. Drink them all the time. They're like give you just like a little baby buzz. So if you end up ordering from Cann, you can use my discount code, promo code Julia Comedy 20. That's Julia Comedy 20, and you get 20% off your whole order, and that's a lot.
I didn't know you had this.
I told you I
I
did.
didn't fully understand. We have like an ad now. We got to record an ad.
All right.
Wow. I mean, who knows what we'll make from it, but
I don't know.
yeah, we're going to do a full ad. We're going to record a full ad. It's going to be in every episode, so you don't have to say this at the end anymore.
Anyway, it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
I like their products. I think they're great. It's a nice alternative to drinking
And smoking. So where can they find you online?
Oh, you can find me Julia Comedy on Instagram, Julia Comedian on Facebook. Matt, where can they find you?
Matt O'Brien on Instagram. That's the only one that really matters, I think. And other than that, We'll be back next week. You damn right we will be.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
we'll even record video. We probably should.
we recorded video last week of us in Halloween costumes.
Yeah, but now it's not Halloween and it's passe.
Oh, we can still post a video
We'll
of us
see.
in wigs and
It's
robes.
possible. We had that other clip that you captioned.
I gotta post that
Yeah,
too.
you post that too. Anyway, we're going to be posting everything. So thanks very much, everyone. Take it away, Chris Bush.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?